Hey everybody, welcome on in. It's time for ClayShare Live. I'm Jessica Putnam-Phillips, and every Wednesday we bring you a live free tutorial, demo, Q&A session. You ask for it, we give it to you, and tonight we have Drew Seymour joining us from Clayscapes Pottery. Clayscapes Pottery has been a sponsor the entire month of November, and we've been featuring their glazes, and Drew has done 2 glaze tutorials with us, so if you missed those, you need to go back and check those out. But tonight, he has the results from all of that glazing, and he's going to share those with us. Also, some other combinations from Clayscapes that are his favorite, and he's going to be answering all of your glaze questions. So, if you have glaze questions, he's got glaze question answers for you tonight. We are also giving away a $50 gift certificate to Clayscapes Pottery, so stay to the end to find out who won. All of the giveaways are open to the public. There's no purchase necessary. All you do is go to clayshare.com and sign up for our email list to be entered. Premium members of ClayShare, you guys, you're automatically entered always, so you don't have to do anything. You just sit back and relax. Of course, you don't even have to watch to win. We will email the winner. So it's really, you got nothing to lose. Just go sign up for it right now. So in prime time, that's the class we're doing at 6:15 tonight, and that's only for premium members of ClayShare. And if you're not a premium member yet, go sign up. You can get into tonight's class. You won't miss out. We're going to be glazing these teapots here. I'm going to do a dip and pour using Clayscapes Glazes, and I'm going to use a brush-on glaze combination, so both. So no matter how you apply your glaze, we've got you covered. Here's a little sneak peek of kind of what I got planned for one of them. Yeah, I know, isn't that great? And the other piece of news that I want to share with everybody is November is coming to a close, and for the entire month of November, we open up applications to the ClayShare Veteran and Veteran Caregiver Scholarship. This is a lifetime scholarship to premium access to all of the classes on ClayShare. And we give these out every year as a way of giving back to the veteran and the veteran caregiver community. As many of you know, Kevin and I both are veterans. Both of our fathers served in the military as well. And we know how important having something for yourself is. And making pottery is one of those things that many veterans find help them deal with just everything. And it's also great for those of you who are veteran caregivers who you just need a place to go, a little something just for you. So if you've not applied yet, it's not too late. You got today and tomorrow to get the applications in. Go to clayshareresources.com and you can fill out the application. If you know of a veteran or a veteran caregiver that you would like to fill out the application on their behalf, you're welcome to do that. Just get it into us by midnight tomorrow night. That's Eastern time. And then on December 6th, we're going to be announcing the recipients. So that's coming right up, well, next Wednesday. So you won't want to miss that. The other news we have is I'm going to be having a review of the brand new Amico Cosmos glazes coming out. Probably that'll be out on Friday. So stay tuned. It'll be on ClayShare and also on my YouTube channel. All right. I know Drew's got a lot to share with you all, and I don't want to keep him from it. So let's go out to Syracuse, New York, and see how he's doing tonight. Hey, Drew. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Hey, Jess. Hey, everybody. Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're awesome, and we're so glad to have you here with us.
Well, we're happy to be with you. I'm happy to show the results of the glazes that we did, the applications in the previous weeks. I've got those here. And then I've got kind of like our display pieces that we bring around with us that, you know, some of you may see it in secret or things like that. And so if anybody, and I'm here to answer questions. So I guess we'll first start off with the glazes of the stuff that we did in the previous broadcasts. And I want to start with this piece because this was my favorite to do. We dipped this is one dip in nutmeg with iron oxide wash that has been liberally applied to the outside to give this nice washy dripping effect. You can get a little close up on there so you can see this nice glossy finish. You know, it looks like one piece. It's not bubbled up or anything like that. That's the nutmeg. And we did a bowl in that as well. So right there is the bowl. So that was that.
So that was the dipping and pouring demo that you did with us.
These are all from the dipping and pouring demo, yes. The other glaze that we did was a bowl in Lake Blue. with cream on the inside. You can see how it gave us this nice lighter blue on the inside where the cream is, and then the darker lake blue, which we also have on these two cups, which I really like. I like the lake blue on this texture. And so we did that.
Oh, I love that.
We did 2 of those. And then one of my test glazes is on the inside of this. This is a red that I'm working on. If I had my phone, I'd light on it. So that's a red that kind of breaks black. And then we also did another test bowl. This is me and trying to replicate Starry Night without using any of the ingredients that are difficult to get nowadays. And so we've got this kind of just wheat test tile example over this new Temoku that I've been working on, basically. So that's that bowl right there. And so these bowls will be donated to Empty Bowls. Someone will go home with them, you know. So, and then the cups. And then we also did this. This was our kind of like an inlay brushing glaze example. It's got another example glaze of this black that I'm working on, and then the alternating frosted mint and spruce on those textured surfaces.
And so that was in the brushing on dip and pour
yes,
glazes.
This was the brushing one. And
yes.
So that's that one. So yeah, and I could go into more if anyone has like specific questions about any of those. We want to remind everybody that we're doing free shipping. I think for the next 2 days, next day, until the end of the month, we're doing free shipping with the code CS1123, and that's good on all Clayscapes pottery glaze orders. And I've got plenty of examples of our dipping glazes and pouring glazes behind me. So feel free to ask questions, I guess.
Yeah, so if anybody has any glaze questions, it can be from a demo that Drew's done with us this month. It can be from a demo in the past that you've seen with Drew. It can just be about glazes in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be one that Drew has done. It could be anything about glazes. It's your chance. If you're having trouble with firing glazes, ask now. Go ahead, Drew.
So we've also got some examples of like, I think this is Jess's Chun over the new purple, which is very nice.
The Chun on the wild aster. Yeah.
Yeah, wild aster.
I know. Chun is so good on those.
This is the cranberry on the new Briar Rose.
Oh yeah.
It's got that like nice kind of frothy effect on the rim, which are really nice. Chun on pitch black, which is this mug right here. We really like to display this. This is one of my favorite combos. Absolutely. You get the nice pitch black base with the Chun blue. Let's see. And then
I have a question about cream. Does it run or move it at all?
Cream is it doesn't run really by itself. It's kind of like it's kind of like one of those glazes, the flowing glazes, right? When you put it on the rim combined with another glaze and it runs, but by itself it really doesn't move. I can show that right here.
And I just wanted to remind folks that with the Clayscapes promo that they're having for the free shipping on Clayscapes Glazes, that's all of their in-house glazes that they make. And it does include my line of Celadons and my stoneware line that I've done for them. So all of the glazes they make there. Sorry to interrupt, Drew. I just had quite a few people asking.
So cream by itself, I mean, this was glazed right to the foot and it didn't move one little speck. So by itself, it's really a nice liner glaze. It's got this nice speckled quality to it. that is just a little more interesting than a plain, like straightforward white. Which so it works really nicely. It shows the color of your clays. When you put it on dark clay, it shows through a little bit. It's really nice quality of it.
Folks want to see the bright red cup with cream.
Oh yeah,
it's the Brooklyn.
so
So
this is a very similar one. And this is the Brooklyn Red Hook with cream on the rim.
Drew, those are nice mugs. Where'd you ever get them?
I don't know. Where did I get that from? That's a definitely.
The Potter made those for you, huh?
Yeah. And then so
The cream, this is a perfect example though of cream and how great it is as a glaze to dip over. I mean, look at that. It's amazing. Yeah, that's what I almost didn't send that to you. I have to tell you, I took some photos with it when I made it and I almost kept it. But
I gotta put like a air tag on it.
But I was like, I'll make another. Yeah, I haven't, but it's gorgeous. And the cream, as Drew was saying, it doesn't really move on its own. It stays put. But when you put on something else, it does move, but it doesn't run down the pot and run off of it.
Right. And that's one of the things, especially if you're new, like I always recommend when people are like, I'm not used to dipping and pouring. I'm used to brushing. I don't want to get into it. Cream is a great kind of like dip your toe in and see how it works because it's so forgiving. It's got a lot of character to it. Cream over pitch. Ooh, these are dusty bowls. But yeah, we got cream over pitch black. That's a very similar effect.
And then got a question about the chun on the pitch black mug, about the chun dipped twice, or was it dipped a little longer? So Melissa, I made that one, and I keep my chun thicker than Clayscapes keeps their chun. So it was one dip in my studio. You might have it thinner. You might need to do 2 dips. So, but that's all. It was one dip in pitch. Yeah, one dip in pitch, one dip in chun. So.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. I love that mug too. I usually have it.
The chun also looks amazing on top of the cranberry and the Clinton pottery red. Both of those look great with chun on top. I think you've got I don't know if you got a chun with Clinton pottery red, but it does.
I have a coastal blue with Clinton pottery
red. Yeah, they're kind of similar. Yeah, that's just beautiful.
And I think this is so it's very similar to this, except it's chun. But yeah, Clinton pottery red with chun or coastal blue, and it runs very nicely. Obviously this form helps with that.
Well, the pitch over, the chun over pitch black's getting a lot of interest.
It's great. You can just put it right here on a little spinning display.
Well, don't you say you take it to NCCA and people try to take it, right?
Well,
you have to watch that one.
But that's also these other mugs down here too. I have to keep a watch on them because people are looking for that JPP merch. They want it.
So back to the pitch black. It's pitch black on the entire mug inside and out, then dipped in chun. So and I have to tell you, pitch black does that, but the Amaco's Obsidian Celadon does not.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle.
There you go. There it is. That's Amaco's Obsidian Celadon with chun. It doesn't do the beautiful opalescence that pitch black does. And I'll tell you, the Georgie's matte black doesn't do it either. But some of the other blacks, they just don't have it. The pitch black is the black.
That secret ingredient.
It does have it. It's a secret.
I don't know what it is, but it's secret.
Folks want to see that big plate behind the pitch and chun mug. Yeah.
So this is Starry Night, dipped or poured over the whole piece, Starry Night. And then with like big squirt bottles or turkey baster, coastal blue and cream have been splattered across its surface.
Is that what your dad made?
This is something that Tim made, yeah.
Oh, Tim made, yeah.
And he made this. I like this. It's kind of, I like this style of plate. I don't know. It's just, I like it. But this really shows off the Starry Night. And because it's on a horizontal surface, we didn't have to worry about running so much. So, he's really able to layer, a lot of glaze on it, like a plate or a platter. That's that one. Let's see if it'll stay. And then what else is a good combo? Here's another, so we're talking about Starry Night. This is another Starry Night bowl. This has the Starry Night with wheat on it, which gives this nice red, which is what I was testing for in this bowl. And it's more of like a golden brown in this bowl than on this. So it's just a different, it's not like an exact substitute for Starry Night, which was disappointing. And then we have Arctic Blue and Turquoise Rain here. These three are all over Starry Night on this bowl. So yeah, we're talking about all of our glazes are powdered. They come in 5 and 10 pound quantities. They're, designed for dipping and pouring, but I showed how you can do brushing with them still. I know that, especially with Justice Celadons, like a nice one coat of glaze, and it gives you a really good covering. So yeah, and then these are all on different clay bodies. We were testing your Celadons last year on like porcelain and speckled and white and all of those things. So that's where to get those mugs from. Yeah.
What about the mug people want to see the mug to the left and the right of the black and Chun one. I want to see both those mugs.
Yeah. This is also Starry Night with some coastal blue on the rim. This was dipped upside down in Starry Night. And then on the top, we have coastal blue and then a little bit of cream as well. And you can see that coastal blue on white clay really is different than on like a brown clay, which is this bowl here. This would be coastal blue on brown clay. Coastal blue on white.
It definitely has a more blue on brown clay. When it's on a white clay, it's more of a white color. But it's gorgeous where it hits Starry Night and they overlap. Beautiful.
And then, believe it or not, this is the exact same combination, just the entire mug instead. So again, Starry Night with coastal blue, but this entire mug was glazed in Starry Night, so that and then it pulls it away right here. And you can see that combo there.
So if folks want to have printed examples of Clayscapes glazes, what do you recommend they do? Like if they want to have them for their own studio, you have your website. People could go and print.
Yep, we do have them all on the website. I don't have like a handout right now. I know that we're working on one for next year. But as of right now, the best place to get that would be on the website for sure. And it's got all the colors with close-ups on them. So we do sell some raku glazes. I've got a couple of those over there. Yeah.
All right, you want to show some more examples?
I can show some more examples. This is coastal blue with cream. So that's that. And then again, coastal blue is a floating blue.
How did you get the pattern on that? Would you explain how that was done?
Yeah, sure. So with this, I think we used like a long tail, like a deer tail brush. You can also use the Mako fan brushes and apply the cream in strokes. Like this, and then what would happen is we would let that dry, so we get all those stripes on there and cream, and so this would be a bare clay with a design of cream on it, and then go back in with coastal blue and do a dip and pour out, like I was showing in the dipping and pouring demo with these bowls, just smaller. Because this is a big bowl. And then we also have that example on a vertical piece, so you can see like the running of like how far that cream moves, you know, in the kiln when it's common. So yeah, I also have, let's see.
What about the vase, the large green vase that you have?
Yeah, this is garden green. I really love this glaze, but I don't show it off too much because it's not food safe. And so, but for a big decorative vase like this, this is cream with garden green. And so it's got these nice dark blue holes, just like the vertical piece that I showed you with coastal blue, but this is with garden green. And so this nice dark green. The thing about garden green is it's a runner, so it definitely will run by itself. And so, just make sure there's plenty of room on the bottom.
And that's just one coat of cream?
Yep, just one. So this would be like very similar, like, big stripe of cream on the bare vase, and then the garden green would go over it, and it pulls it in that nice hole like that.
And you fired a 5 or 6 there at Clayscapes.
We fired a cone 6, but a lot of these, actually all of these go to cone 5. The glazes that went to had to go to 6, we had to discontinue.
Right, and the ones that you showed, like the pitch with Chun, that I fired that 5. All the ones that Clayscapes has that I made for them that they have on display, the Brooklyn line and some of the others, those are all 5s. So those of you who are concerned about color shift, my Chun does like 5. It likes 5 better than 6. It does go to 6, but the best color is at 5. Like it loves 5.
And this is an example of that. I got this nice, beautiful Chun here. This piece here. Yeah. This was also fired at cone 5. Yep. This is like a nice belly cup that Jess made.
Yeah, those are the darted mug class. Those are.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Chun blue. It goes with everything.
So, yeah, I know it does. When you're deciding to put cream on, what makes you choose using cream under a glaze versus over a glaze?
I think that it depends on what I want it to look like. So if I'm looking for a more subtle pull of like that color, I'll usually put cream under it. But if I'm looking at doing something on the rim, like I'll put the cream on the top because I want it to go over it and kind of do that, similar to the Mako fluxes or the Amico fluxes. Basically, you're adding this nice melty glaze on top of whatever surface you're going to do, and it's going to pull like that hair's fur kind of effect. The satin black. Did I do satin black? Well, it's gone. But the new satin black also does that.
Yeah, it does the hair's fur.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what the coastal blue and the garden green and the Arctic, they also do, those kinds of effects. So, let's see. So I've got, this is another example of coastal blue, but on white clay. So you can see how like that color is very different here than it is here. White clay, brown clay. So.
I love cream on a darker clay. And this great thing about speckled clay is specks come through the cream too.
Yes. This is cream on brown clay. So you can see that it's got that warm tone of the brown clay underneath it, but it still gives you that white, which is nice. And then, the speckled speckled clays, the new Tucker, we've been playing with the new Tucker clays, and the mid-smooth stone spec has been really popular. It's the first speckled clay that is white that I've used, which is different, because usually the speckles, they can take over the clay body and really change that clay's tone and color. So the Tucker, I found the spec is really nice. And that's what these
and the
are
spec shows, yeah, and the specs show through nicely. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful.
Watch it up. And the inside, even the inside of that, if I can get close enough.
So if somebody wanted to buy your glazes, how do they come again? They come in dry.
Like a 8x8 by 6-inch tall box, powdered in a bag. The last broadcast, did we show how to mix
mixed glaze? Yeah, we did. We mixed up glazes, and we also have tutorials. I know I've got some on ClayShare and on YouTube to mix up Clayscapes, but
yeah,
they're just add water.
And we show how to mix them, and we also have mixing instructions on the website where you can go and get the hydrometer reading or anything like that for all of the glazes, if that's how you do your glaze mixing. And we sell all those tools as well. Thank you.
And so the 5-pound box, that's 5 pounds of dry, which mixes up to just about a gallon, maybe a little more than a gallon.
5 pounds makes you about a gallon. And so if we can, 10 pounds, you're going to get about 2 to 2.5 gallons. And then 20 pounds is for your full 5-gallon bucket.
And so I buy 2-gallon buckets, and it works great for mixing them up.
Yeah. This is Spearmint Lake Blue looks like Laguna 60, I believe.
That's a 60. Yeah. And it's a speckled, it's a brown, light brown speckled clay.
Yeah, and you can really see, especially with the spearmint, you can see the speckles showing through in that clay.
Yeah, it's yummy.
So yeah, it's really a good clay body.
So people were asking if they could see the little green or blue coffee cup on the 3rd shelf down.
These guys.
The green, blue. Yeah, I think those little guys.
These are from an artist named Peter Valenti. He used to be a local high school artist here. He made these for us when we were coming out with the Brooklyn line. So this is the little green one, and it's got a blue inside, Coney Island. I think it's Coney Island.
And then what's the one next to it? That's your.
This is Tim's Dark Celadon with
very tealy,
Brighton Beach. Yeah. Want to say Brighton Beach? Let me look over here.
So that's really good, because people always ask about my Orbe and Tim's Dark Celadon being similar, but they're not at all. When you see them, they're so different. So
these are much brighter, much lighter. And the Tim's Dark Celadon is more, I think it's closer to Orbe than it is to the others. But the Orbe is going to give you a more of a grass green tone. And then it also has an iron, where if it's really thick, it's got a nice iron speck to it. Whereas the Tim's Dark does not have that. And this is much.
There's the Orbe that has a little bit of iron oxide.
Iron oxide
on the rim. It's actually iron oxide and Gerstley borate mixed up to make a thick slip that I brushed on the rim and then carved through. So that's when I first started making pressed plates. That was back in the day. That's a decade-old plate there. That's when you found when you came to the studio and you were rummaging around and you took that home. And then
I broke it on a live stream. No, I didn't break it. I promise.
Do you have any examples of a turquoise glaze?
Yeah. Let's see here. So our turquoise rain is this very satiny kind of matte turquoise that we have here on brown.
You also have another one too. An aqua? Don't you have an aqua?
Aqua right here. And then there's aqua, which is just it's very clear, plain, like aqua blue, aqua. That's what we call it, aqua. I think it's got the similar base to cream, so it's really stable. It doesn't move a lot by itself. It combos well with Star Night. You know, but it does some interesting things. We've been using Dylan, one of the guys that works in the warehouse, has been doing some combo bowls and things like that with aqua and some new pinks that I think we're working on. It's a good glaze. It's gonna do some cool things. But yeah, aqua is
right there. I that's one of my favorite glazes. It just feels so nice.
Yeah,
like when you make a bowl with it and you eat out
awesome.
of it, it's just really nice to use. Ooh, Jennifer says she's used turquoise rain with cobblestone dipped and then cream, and it's fabulous.
Ooh, interesting.
I'll have to put that on my to try list.
I do have a cobblestone sample plate here too. This is the Christmas one, but I like this. I've been experimenting with cobblestone for some of my cups because I really like the matte, like the satiny matte finish over texture is really something that's desirable and for me. And so cobblestone is definitely one of those ones that shows that texture. And it's really, really good. Wow. Cobblestone. And then there's spearmint over cobblestone right here, which is also Jessica.
I love that combo. So when I was making and selling production pottery, the cobblestone base, like you put that on a piece and then you dip it in spearmint, you dip it, for one, and then, or you put the cobblestone with lake blue, or I would do cobblestone with, I had a black, it wasn't the same as your pitch black, but it was very similar. So you could use your pitch black, but like those three kind of checked the boxes for all the people that were shopping that would come to my booth. And then sometimes the Oribe looks great on cobblestone as well. So it's just,
interesting.
Yeah. So there's so many options out there. And I think a mug's great because you dip like the whole mug in one and then you just dip the top in another glaze and just see what happens. And you do that with everything.
That's what
I do it with everything.
I really like working in a little bit faster pace. And so when I'm brushing, it's almost tedious to me, right? It's like an effort in like, how long can I sit still and while I'm brushing? And so but I think that's why dipping and pouring really appeals to me. Just because I can be fast and loose and messy with it, and it's an experience rather than just sitting and brushing forever. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I like dipping and pouring. That was also how it brought up, so I'm kind of biased. So yeah, we've got this piece here is also one that we did. This is all brushed. It's got all of the wildflower glazes on it. And we just Dylan took one of his bigger pots and just wanted to see if, what we could do with it brushing wise. And so, yeah, this is all brushed. Maybe, you can see how they blend a little bit there. But yeah, there's all on there. So that's the Tucker Speckle, that mid-smooth stone speck.
I love that. I love that. Someone said they've been using nutmeg with turquoise and it's very beachy.
Ooh, very beachy.
Right? I never thought of that.
I like that idea.
Do you list your glazes, whether they're matte, satin, or gloss, on the website?
Each glaze has its own individual description, so I would have to double check. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know that there is a description of each glaze. And then there are images, and then where the glaze is like coastal blue, there'll be an example of it on white clay versus brown clay. and all of that. So, yeah. Oh, I got some Jamie pots over there I could show too, but.
People want to see the bottle behind the cobblestone mug on the top right shelf there. There's a blue bottle. I think is that shadow blue? Is that
Yep, this is
with cream? Is that cream?
water etched, and then is shadow blue on porcelain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Christine. She's one of our students, so she's been doing it for a few years. It's a really nice bottle.
I love shadow blue. It's great for texture. It's a fabulous glaze.
And then this is the shadow blue with cream because it's so good. It is so good. Cream with shadow.
I know. The shadow blue with cream is amazing. Pitch black with cream is amazing. Yeah, this is why we say you can never go wrong with cream. Put on everything.
Cream really is like a kind of, it's a great glaze. We love it. We love it. This is an example, another example of cream and coastal blue on Clinton red. Right there. So
you dipped it in the Clinton pottery red.
So this whole piece was dipped in Clinton pottery red, and then there were droplets of coastal blue dropped in these spots, and then the rim was dipped in cream.
Wow.
To get that effect.
Yeah.
So, but you can see on the outside, it definitely moved, right? This ran from the top all the way to the bottom. So that's got a nice foot on it to catch that glaze. Move things around. Let's see. Wheat. Butter. We do have whites. I can walk around the gallery with you. We got some stuff. There's a new pink over there I could show.
Yeah. And folks were asking, what is the best clear to use with underglazes? What are things you want to consider about a clear glaze?
If you're using a brushing glaze, especially if you're using underglazes, I like to stick within the brand, right? So if I'm using Amico underglazes, I like to stick with the Amico brushing clear. If you're using Mako underglazes, the Mako brushing clear. That being said, they're both excellent clear glazes. You want to just make sure that it's a zinc-free clear. You don't want to make the mistake of ordering a clear glaze that's got zinc in it. It's going to burn out, some of your pinks and purples and greens and things like that. So I would definitely go with, either the Amico or the Mako brushing clears. If you're going for dipping and pouring, crystal clear is really a great clear. If you're making your own at home, I know you've got Jess's 2167 there, is a good clear. The biggest thing I would always say for clear glazes is make sure you're applying it thinly, right? So you want a thin coat, one and done. That's to avoid any cloudiness, right? Because that's where your clear glazes, when they build up too thick on your piece, that's where you get like a cloudy white film kind of look to them. I think I've got an example of crystal clear here. Nope. It's down here. Here it is. I mean, clear is such a difficult glaze to show an example of, but I mean, you can see it here, just one coat, crystal clear, dipped and poured.
So how does cream do with manganese specs? Do you have any pinholing?
So I have a special glaze firing that I like to fire for the bisque firing, and that really eliminates all of the pinholing and air bubbling or blistering that you can get from manganese specking. And so I have like a custom program for bisque that I, certainly could give I can post the link, or if you email me, I could share that link. It's just a special extra long bisque firing because and that gets rid of the outgassing during the bisque program so that you don't have pinholing or blistering problems in the glaze program. And so that's not to say that it's going to completely eliminate pinholing. It's just eliminates pinholing because of that reason. And so it's a long firing. It's like an 18 to 20 hour firing. So you just have to be willing to fire your kiln.
Commit.
Because it's a long firing.
I did a sculpture bisque the other day, and I do a 8-hour preheat on a sculpture bisque and then a slow fire. So that one was going for like, I think it's still going actually. No, just like goes forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I would realistically, we don't, at least in our studio, we don't have a ton of outgassing problems or pinholing or blistering problems just because we fire that program, and it just eliminates all of that. So then when we say, okay, well, if a piece comes through and it has pinholing or blistering, we know that it's not because of the clay body. And then we can look to how thick is the glaze? And, is it, too thick on the piece? Is it too thick in the bucket? These are things that we look to for pinholing, blistering that are excluded from the clay body just because of that one firing. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What else do you want to share? You got any other goodies there?
Do I got any goodies? I mean, we've got goodies. I can run out of screen real quick and show.
And if you folks have questions, we've got about 10, 15. We'll go 15 more minutes if we have to. 10. We'll do 10. 10 more minutes.
Let me go.
You got some glaze questions you can ask. Drew will answer. Or I will. Somebody's going to answer you.
Okay, so this is top secret.
You're going to get into trouble.
Share it, but this is one of the pinks that we've been working on. It's really light here, but you can see it goes like this dark cranberry underneath.
Look at that.
With the ultraviolet on top. So that's a pink that we're working on. I don't know if it's going to be. I get to show off. I don't get to show people like my experiments. So this is kind of like I get this. They see the light of day, kind of thing.
So, what is your favorite glaze or glaze combos to use?
So I've really been liking the mattes. So like the cobblestone, the frosted mint, the spruce, just because I've been working with like heavy textures. And so, this nice like satin frosted mint, which breaks over like any kind of texture. The spruce blue, which I showed on this cup, but it also on white clay can really vary from very, very matte to where it's thicker, a nice satiny gloss, denim blue. So I really like these types of glazes. The cobblestone again, which again really shows that texture and is like a dark tone that I can use in contrast with some of the lighter ones. Those are my favorites.
What is on? Yeah, what is the nutmeg? I know you've always liked the nutmeg.
I like the
nutmeg. It's beautiful, and it varies depending on the clay and also the temperature you fire it to.
It does.
It can go from a satiny to a gloss. Yeah.
Here's another example of a nutmeg. It's just another one of those vases that I glazed in the exact same way with the nutmeg on it. It's just it looks like it came out of our gas reduction kiln, and I just love. It's what I would call a potter's pot. So, but it's a really beautiful glaze, and I love the nutmeg.
Oh, here's a glaze troubleshooting issue. What would cause crazing in cream on B-Mix?
Crazing and cream on B-Mix. I would wonder if it's too thick. So anytime there's like a glaze technical question, I'm always would love to see the pictures. So, the first thing I would say would be, can you take a picture and send it? But the cream really, it would have to be too thick in order for it to craze. B-Mix, I know we use a lot of it in our studio, and we don't have those types of issues on B-Mix in the studio here. So I'd be willing to bet that it's maybe a little thick. We could try thinning it out in the bucket, or like a quicker application, depending on how it was applied, is what I would recommend.
Ooh, here's a good one. It's one I like to talk about a lot too. Would you talk about matte glazes and how they can be food safe but not food appropriate?
Yes, I love that. So
Me too.
The thing about matte glazes is, okay, well, so when we talk about food safe, there's different things that people think of, right? And so when we talk about glazes being food safe, that means that they don't have any chemicals in them that are going to be harmful to you if you were to ingest them. Food appropriate is something that I like to apply to a glaze that is technically food safe, meaning there's no material in it that's going to hurt you or cause you cancer or anything like that, but it's still, the surface of a glaze may not be appropriate for food because of bacterial reasons, right? So this piece right here is an excellent example, right? This is a satin. It's not all the way glossy, but it's not all the way matte. So, it falls in this in-between state. But it's textured and matte. And so there could be, if I were to serve food on this, there could be bacteria that then crawls into those little cracks and crevices in the matte texture that could then cause contamination down the road. And so that's what we call not food appropriate, meaning it doesn't have lead in it, it doesn't have cadmium in it, but it's not regulated by the FDA. And
the other thing, wouldn't you say like the frosted mint or any of the satin or matte glazes will show utensil marks and wear?
Yeah, they can.
Which is something a lot of people don't like when they buy, handmade plates. They don't want to see the utensil marks right away.
Absolutely.
Sometimes over time, but
absolutely. And that surface quality, I know the new Amico glazes have this, that they're technically food safe, but the surface of a glaze may not be suitable for food. And so this is one of those scenarios where there's nothing in it that's toxic. It's just, the utensils are going to scratch it or, carve it up and potentially chip it. And so that's why it would be, not food appropriate. Garden green is technically not food appropriate. We put it that it's not food safe. It has copper in it, and the surface of this glaze will etch or will mark up if you have any kind of highly acidic stuff. So coffee or orange juice or lemon wedge, anything like that is going to cause it to etch. And so we mark that as not food appropriate. But technically it's food safe.
If someone has a bit of the aqua dipping glaze left from back when you were the brushing glaze, when you're doing the brush on,
yes.
If they bought the dipping of the aqua, can they mix them together?
Totally. Absolutely. Not a problem.
Yeah. Not a big deal at all. Okay,
not a big deal at all.
And then would you address actually the question, folks, want to buy smaller amounts than 5 pounds.
Yes.
Would you address why you sell them at that amount? I mean, 5 pounds isn't really that much, because I've shown you can take it, mix it up. It's 1 1/4 gallons, and you can decant some of that off into a little mason jar It's
Yeah.
really not. It's really not that much.
Yeah, it's mostly it's a labor thing. The amount of work involved in processing high quantities of 1 pound weighouts for $4 is not, it's not viable for us as a business. And
well, doesn't it cost the same in labor for you? So basically you'd have to charge the same amount for 1 pound versus 5 pounds.
Yeah, it winds up,
when you look at the numbers,
not being worth it. We just wanted to send, we used to sell 1 pound quantities back in the day, when we weren't selling nearly as much glaze. And the amount of people, it wound up not being, it's not really worth it for us to sell 1 pound. It would have to be marked up a ridiculous amount, and we don't want to do that. We'd rather just sell, as affordable as possible, 5 pound quantity. You don't have to, when you get 5 pounds, you don't have to mix all 5 pounds all at once. So if you just want a jar of it, I showed in the first demonstration that I did this month how you can mix it up in a mason jar in less than a minute. With the mixer. And so, yeah, we just, 5 pounds is as little as that gets for us for right now. Yep.
So talking about food appropriateness, would you consider a glaze that has crazed food appropriate or not food appropriate?
That is the question. Again, technically, if you wash it well enough, it's fine. It's not going to be that big a deal. But there are people that will say, any crazed glass surface, has the potential to harbor bacteria. And those bacteria, if they don't get cleaned well enough, can make you sick. So, it's a 50-50. It would have to depend on how badly crazed it is. If you got a little bit of crazing around the lip, of the inside of your mug, you're probably fine. But if the whole inside surface of your mug is crazed.
Well, when we talk about glazes and there's glaze defects, and a crazed glaze is actually a glaze defect.
It's a glaze defect.
It's a problem.
It's not ideal.
Although it's a cool effect decoratively, it's really not.
Yes.
It's not. And so if you're submitting your work, a lot of pottery guilds and organizations, when they're accepting new members, if you have crazed glazes, you will not be accepted because that's a defect in your glaze. It's a fault. Yeah. So it's, unless you're making decorative pieces, if it's functional, that's totally different. But plates and mugs cannot have crazed glaze on it.
I think of it like this, there are people that put glass in the bottom of their pieces and to get that crazed glaze looking effect. And you just have to think of it as like if you were drinking out of a piece that had that in it. And so it's really not, it's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. Anytime that's happening, you ideally will want to try and troubleshoot that away. So, yep.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens, and that's a glaze, glaze fit issue usually. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you anything.
9 out of 10 times, that's exactly what it is. It can be too thick, in which case that's just a little adjustment on the production side, and you'll be good to go.
Ooh, here's a good one. How much of your brushing mediums should be added to a dipping glaze? How can I add that to glazes that I've already mixed up?
Sure. So the brushing medium comes powdered dry. And I want to say it's like 7 grams of brushing medium for a pound of glaze. And yep, I'm positive that's what that is. It's 7 grams of brushing medium. So you really only need you're talking a tablespoon of brushing medium per pound. And so that ideally you would mix that when it's powder, but you can add that to warm water and then add that warm water to your glaze solution. And that will help with with brushing. And the way brushing medium works is it slows down the drying time of your glaze. So when you take your cup and dip it in and pull it out, it dries really quick. If I were to do the same thing with this cup in a glaze that had brushing medium, dip it in, pull it out, it's going to take longer to dry. It's going to stay wet much longer. And that's what makes it more brushable, is that it's staying wet longer, it's staying hydrated more. All that water is not leaving the second it touches the glaze or the pot, basically.
And just to be clear, when you take a dip and pour glaze and you make it brushable, it's not at all the same as brushable glazes that companies like Mako or Amico are selling. They're totally different creatures.
Correct. Those, I mean, realistically, you're not going to get an Amico glaze out of these. These are never meant to act like an Amico glaze. When you add your brushing medium to them, it's going to reduce it's going to increase the amount of time it takes for it to dry, but it's not going to put it into like a really thick solution like you're used to with the Amico or the Makos. Those are, marketed and designed for the brushing market. And these are not. They're marketed for dipping and pouring, but you can, with technique or brushing medium, brush with them. It's not exclusive.
We've got time for one more question, and I have it. It's, how do you fix a hard pan glaze?
Yes. So typically a hard pan glaze happens because those ingredients like bentonite that are added to your glaze to keep it in suspension, they're kind of a double-edged sword in that if there's too much water with them, or if they sit for too long, they settle in the bucket. And they don't settle like normal. They settle like a hard, thick cake that is difficult to get up. I find that I use cutting that cake up with a fettling knife or a trimming tool, and you can drag it through the bottom of that sediment, and it will really cut that up and get it into the mixture faster. And that's the best way I can recommend. Because trying to do it with your bare hands, anybody that's ever done that knows that it's really difficult. And so really chopping that hard pan, that hard cake of sediment on the bottom is the best advice I can give you for that.
All right. So that's all we have time for. Whew. I know we could go on for another hour, couldn't we?
I know. I could talk for hours. Right.
Well, we'll have to have you back again soon, Drew. Thank you so much for an amazing month. Anything you want to leave us with before we go?
What's that?
Anything you want to leave us with before we go?
No, just don't forget the code CS1123. It's good for, I think, today and tomorrow. Today's the
2 more days of the free shipping.
And that's the free shipping.
Awesome.
That's everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew, for being here with us this month. It's been fabulous.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks. All right.
If you've missed any of Drew's tutorials, you can go back and watch them on ClayShare. We have those recorded and waiting for you as a replay. He did the demos where he showed how he did that tall cylinder vase with the nutmeg glaze that everybody loved and wanted to see. Yeah, he showed how to do that. Also, that little cup that he did where he brushed on the 2 different glazes, alternating the colors, he did that. So if you want to see those and how they were actually done, you can go back and watch those. And those are ClayShare live broadcasts. You just go to ClayShare.com or you go to the ClayShare app. And if you look under the ClayShare live tab and you scroll across, you'll see all of the live broadcasts. So you got to go back a couple weeks. Like last week, you got to hear me sing the 12 gifts for potters. You could go back to the week before that and the week before that. That's what you want. But, and I have a giveaway. We have one prize. We're going to give away a $50 gift certificate to Clayscapes Pottery to one lucky winner. Just a reminder to enter our giveaways, you go to ClayShare.com and sign up for our email list, and that's it. That's all you have to do. It's really easy. You do it once, One and done. You never have to worry about it again, and you'll be entered in all of our giveaways always if you do that. So that just makes life easy for you all. Now that free shipping that Drew was mentioning on Clayscapes Pottery Glazes, that's for all of the glazes they make there in-house. So it's my Celadon line, the Wildflower Celadons. It's my stoneware glazes, that's the Chun, and that was the Cobblestone, Lake Blue Spearmint, Cranberry, Nutmeg, all of those fabulous glazes, Orbe. It also includes that Shadow Blue, Tim's Dark Celadon, the Cream, of course, Pitch Black, and all those great glazes. If you want to get them, you can get your free shipping. Those of you outside of the continental US, they are doing a discount, but you have to reach out to them and they'll work something out with you. So please do that. Don't think you're being completely left out. They've thought of you and are definitely going to take care of you. All right, so tonight's winner of the $50 gift certificate is Betsy Dunham. Betsy Dunham, congratulations. You get to go to Clayscapes Pottery and get yourself some goodies. I'm super excited. Folks were asking about glazes. I wanted to share, this is Spruce Blue and Nutmeg. I wanted to share these. We'll go close up. I know Drew shared them as well. And these are actually cups Drew made. So look at these beautiful carved babies. And Drew, what clay, he's still in my ear so he can hear me, although you guys can't hear him. What clay did you use for these? This beautiful clay. This is the Laguna 75. There's a really nice brown clay. So the Nutmeg and then the Spruce Blue. Drew, was this Nutmeg have cream on it or is it just Nutmeg? That's just the Nutmeg. Lovely. Oh my gosh. And then I wanted to share the Wildflower Celadons. This is Buttercup with cream, just a bit of cream on the rim and the handle. So you can see it's just a sweet little, great, happy, something we need when it's a little dreary. You need a little happy, sunshiny cup. All right, so there we have it. All the glaze results and glaze Q&A. If you have any glaze questions at all, you can always reach out to Drew at Clayscapes Pottery. It's Andrew at Clayscapes Pottery. And you can always ask me about glazes as well. If it's a specific question, a technical issue with a Clayscapes glaze, reach out to Drew. If it's just an application or something, you can ask me too. So we're both here for you. Whatever you need, we're here for you. In prime time now, I am going to be glazing teapots, 2 teapots. Now we made these, so if you missed that tutorial, that's okay. That class is up there and you can go and watch and learn how to make these fabulous hand-built sweater teapots. We're gonna glaze these. One of them I'm gonna glaze by brushing on a brush-on glaze, not a dip and pour, but an actual brush-on glaze, right? And then the other one we're gonna do dip and pour. Now I do have 4 or 5 other teapot classes and we do glaze things, but in this one we're gonna do 2 for 1. 2 different ways to glaze in 1 teapot class session. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I will see you all next week. We'll be announcing the recipients of the ClayShare Veteran and Veteran Caregiver Scholarship. So please come back and watch that. If you are a veteran or veteran caregiver and you would like to apply, please go to ClayShare's website, which is our resource website, which is ClayShare Resources. I know, we've got a lot of websites. I got to keep track of everything. And the application is there, and if you want to fill the application out on behalf of someone else, you can do that as well. You've got till midnight tomorrow night to do so, so please don't miss out. All right, everyone, take care, be well, and as always, make great pots. Bye, everyone.